You guys learning a lot?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Okay. Sorry for the room changes. You guys, there's a lot of you. We didn't anticipate this many people. But anyway, I hope you guys are learning a lot. If you haven't noticed, the rooms have changed. If you look by the entrances, whatever we have, developer, publisher, user, power user, that's what you should go by. Right now, we have an amazing speaker. Who here has ever heard of iThemes? Who backs up their sites with Backup Buddy? I heard who?
That's just me.
Who doesn't, I should ask. Okay, go out there and get it now. I don't want to take too much of his time, but let me introduce Cory Miller.
Thanks. Well, thanks. I was hoping he wouldn't prop me up too big because I don't want the expectations to be up here. Now, but let me just say, I'm pumped to be here at Dayton, and the first ever Dayton. That was awesome. Nathan a couple weeks ago sent me, or maybe over a month ago. Can you guys hear me in the back? No. Shoot. Boom. I don't think there's mics, so I'm kind of soft-spoken. So I'll have to, if I'm not, somebody give me a wave in the back. But the first ever WordCamp Dayton, and to see all the people that had never been to a WordCamp before, this is exciting. I'm glad to be here. So I think he just walked out, but I was going to recognize him. If you're a volunteer for WordCamp, if you've helped put this thing on, would you stand up for a second? They're all working, right? Well, shoot. Is every? Hey, there they are. Where's the rest of you guys? Is anybody else in here?
They're everywhere and nowhere at all.
Well, okay, awesome. Okay, hey, everybody give a round of applause to the volunteers, organizers. I've been to my share of WordCamps over the years, and I cannot believe how much work goes into something like this. And so for those that weren't in here that have the volunteer badges and stuff, say thank you personally, because to put on a 2-day workshop for $40, and that meal in there was easily 20, right? Plus you got a t-shirt, so be sure and say thank you, because this is not a commercial endeavor. I know there's vendors here, thank them too for helping, underwrite some of the costs, but all the way from the business development, go do that, because I can tell you that it's like WordPress, right? It takes a lot of people, thousands and thousands of people over 10 years to build this awesome software. The same thing goes with WordCamp. So anyway, I just wanted to say, be sure and say thank you to those guys. So I'm pumped to be here at Dayton. You guys got a great community going on, and I want to share a couple things with you. I was trying to think. I was telling Constantine earlier, I was like, how do you speak to someone that just got a WordPress site to someone like him who, builds stuff, like all this other stuff? How do you tie all that together? And so this is my question. So I try to think, what's the common tie? You're going to learn about SEO. You've learned about security from Joe, Git, server, how to have a local hosting from Mark and everything. All these topics over the day. I tried to say, what's the one common unifying element with all this? Why are we all here? WordPress. Absolutely. Jeff wins. Give him a disc. Give him an extra shirt. But so it's WordPress, right? But we're not here because this awesome software is awesome. We're not here just to prop it up and just say it's awesome. It's awesome because it helps you do something. And so I've looked back. I've been using WordPress since 2006. Yeah, 2006. And for everybody sitting here, from those that are the developers building stuff with WordPress to those of you that are starting your site and trying to get your recognition, you're all using this awesome software that's 10 years old, coming up on 11, for a reason. And I think that's some dream, some goal that you have. We were talking at lunch, and WordPress changed my life. Not just because it was good software, but WordPress changed my life. I mean, 6 years ago, before I started iThemes, I was working another job. And WordPress helped me to transition and live my dreams. And so what I want to try to just real quickly tie together is 4 lessons for what I've learned over the last 6-8 years of using WordPress. We're all trying to do something to achieve something, and WordPress is that common unifying element. So I'm going to give you 4 lessons that I've learned, 4+ lessons really, 4 big takeaways that over 6 years of doing business, being around WordPress, and just living on the web, right? That I want to share with you that I think looking back, if I said 6 years ago, 8 years ago, if I could go back in time and say, do these things, Cory, just keep doing these things, these would get me here again. Okay, number 1, be chasing a world-changing vision. You have dreams, you have goals, and they aren't, make sure, my encouragement here is to make sure those goals are world-changing goals, bigger than just you. 6 years ago, I didn't have a dream that was just my size dream. I wanted a dream that was bigger than me, right? So my first key takeaway for you is to have a life-changing, world-changing vision, dream, and goal. And it starts with these people. Now, some of you might not be entrepreneurs. You're maybe working a full-time job and everything. So supplant customers with boss or organization. But the world-changing vision has to be about these things. I'm going to hit this over and over and over. It has to be about you, your family. I've got a 13-month-old child at home and a beautiful, smart, amazing wife that zings me all the time at home. So you, your family, your team, and your customers. That's what the vision has to be about. This is, when I say world-changing vision, it's your why statement. It's the reason for being. If I just told you today I was here to sell plugins or sell a product to you, that's not world-changing. That's my side. That's just for me. That's a selfish thing. We want to do something bigger and better than us. We want to help you achieve your dreams. So what is your why statement? What is your cause? What is your purpose? And what is your summit that you're pointing to? That's way, 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 way bigger than yourself. You can't change the world just by having a you-sized vision, right? So what's your why statement? And if you get this world-changing vision, that's the roadmap. So if you're looking at the summit and going, we're going to chase freedom for people. That's one of the things we try to do for 6 years is say, and that's what WordPress does, right? It gives you freedom. You don't have to have a PhD in computer science to build a website. That's freedom. So that big thing overhead that's so much bigger than you, what is that? And if you figure that out, it's easy, right? Well, I say it's easy, but the roadmap to that summit becomes pretty apparent. You got to figure out how you get to the summit from where you are right now, what your elevation is. So I'm going to try to tell you some stories and not just like yell at you and tell you things that you need to do. I'm going to try to tell you stories that, the reason why I pushed these for you today. So in 2008, January 2008, 6+ years ago, I started iThemes. When I started iThemes, it was about building cool WordPress themes, but it was really about helping people have the tools, extending WordPress to do what you wanted to do online. Now that meant I didn't have to be a designer, I didn't have to be a coder. I wanted to give them tools so they could build whatever they wanted to build with WordPress to make that even easier, right? And in 2008, it feels simple when I look back, because hindsight's better. But it was just real simple and clear. It was just that, one, I wanted to live I had a little bit of a U-sized vision. I wanted to be a full-time entrepreneur like my granddad's. I wanted to live my dream, running my own business, my own show. But it was pretty simple. It was like, let's build themes because they're going to enable people to build cool websites like I was able to. 8 years ago, I could barely spell CSS or HTML, and definitely not PHP, but WordPress helped me do something, and I wanted to give that joy, that experience to our customers. So that's very simple. Heck yeah, we wanted to make money because I wanted to keep doing this and not have to go back to my other job, right? But the bigger vision was past me. It was doing something for other people. That's a world-changing vision. Now, that was mine 6 years ago, but you have to think about what is yours. You're trying to do something for someone else. How are you trying to make their lives better, right? So, in 2008, simple and clear, looking back at 6 years, last year, my story for you is, I started to wonder. I started to think, man, in 2008, when it was just me in my home office, it felt kind of easy. It was scary, thinking, would people buy our product and our cause, our why statement, to allow me to keep doing this? It felt simpler. In 2013, we had 20+ people. Every time payroll goes out and I see the external transfer to our payroll system, I still feel a little heartburn, but it gets bigger. And what happened to me was I felt like we had lived our definition of success, our why statement, And we got to this place where I was like, oh my gosh. And I looked down and I go, we got a lot to lose now. And I started to wonder, I'll just be honest with you. I think my team probably sensed it. I started feeling less secure about who I was, what we were doing. I was spinning in the wilderness, and the two closest people to me, Matt, my COO, and Lindsay, my wife, were so reassuring because they knew I was wondering, and I was like, what's our why? Like, we've done everything we set out to do, and I was sitting there kind of left, and that's professionally. Professionally, the business had been successful. We've been able to live our dreams, work with people we love. And then personally, at 36 years old, I got to live my one left personal big bucket list, that was to have a child. And I was sitting there going, man, what's my why? Everything I looked forward to when I was a kid to do, those big hazy dreams, that big summit off in the distance, I was standing there, you know? And frankly, I got scared. I was just like, oh man, who am I now, you know? And so I began to wonder, and why I'm kind of coming back to this first key takeaway for you is that it took me a while to get that, and being lost for a time is okay. It's okay for me, I'll just say that. I needed that time because when we finally, the kind of clouds cleared and we saw the summit together and the world, we got back to the big world-changing vision kind of thing that we wanted to do, that I wanted to do personally, professionally, and family. Those three things I highly suggest. I had to go back to those three areas and go, professionally, what do I want to do? I got to write a book or co-author a book with some really smart people. I got to live my dream of being a full-time entrepreneur. What now do I want to do? What's left, you know? And that's not, I'm not, that was the first time in my life I was like, wow, what does tomorrow look like? I've always been chasing something in the distance. And the takeaway is that I realized how important that was for me and everyone around me. As the leader of our team and what we're doing, people look to me. And I'll tell you, if you have a world-changing summit, that why statement, people gravitate toward that. Because people want to, I believe we all want to belong, and we want to do something significant. And when you kind of wander, it really sucks. And so I had to finally come back to it. And it was pretty simple. This is for about 3 years. This has been our, I hate to say it's a mission statement because it's so fuzzy and it's a mantra more than anything, but we have this on our wall. We talk about it. We have shirts made up on it, and it's very simple. We stole it from Penny Arcade. Make people's lives awesome. And who that means is not just me. It means, back to that one slide I showed you, me, my family, our team's family, our customers, and their families by extension. So I kind of knew that, right? But then we came to this, and I'll just real quick, I don't want this to be about iThemes or anything like that, but this is what the clouds kind of parted. I'm not saying I'm clairvoyant or anything, I was just looking. But protect, prosper, help people be productive. So we try to say, prosper means we should prosper. I stopped apologizing for making money a long time ago, because if we do our job right, you should pay us well. And the same thing goes for you if you're a freelancer, if you're working for somebody else. If you're helping someone achieve a result, helping them prosper, you should prosper in return. That's my belief. You can heckle me later. But so, here's my tip for you that I've kind of been going back on this. Right now, it's have a 2-lifetime world-seeking, world-changing vision. I saw a documentary on Ted Turner, the media mogul, and his dad told him, have a dream so big, so freaking big, that it looks so impossible. And I realized why that advice, he gave that advice to him. It's because you will work your butt off, and at some point you'll be standing on the summit, and you'll go, holy crap, I'm lost. Because it's not about the summit, it's about the journey, right? And so my takeaway for myself, what I told myself, is that I have to have 2 lifetimes worth of dreams. Because I'm 37 now, I'm going to work my butt off to keep the next vision. But at some point, we're going to be standing on that summit, and I'm going to feel lost again. And so here's something stupid I'll give you today. You know what one of my bucket, new dreams, 2 lifetime dreams is? Hey, if I can, my health, and we're able to do that, why not? I'm going to be laughed at. That's okay, right, Nathan?
Go for it.
Why not fly to outer space, Virgin Galactic and all that kind of stuff?
I want to go too.
Let's go together. Maybe they'll do 2 for 1. But that seems so crazy to me. So far-fetched. But you know, I got to go to Europe a couple weeks ago. It was a lifelong dream of mine. And I'm like, you know what? I got to have bigger and broader things because now I've crossed that off. You know? So let's go to the moon together. We'll talk later, okay? 2 lifetimes worth of dreams. The second is you got to be ready to change and make new ones. I realized things shift. 6 years ago, the iPhone was like V1. I had this cool thing, and I don't even know if it could do apps or whatever, but it changed my life because I could get email anywhere. But that changed our business fundamentally, and it has changed WordPress and the landscape of the web. And so I realized through a lot of different things when I stand on the summit and achieve something and mark it off that I have to be ready to change. Things change that are out of my control, and I'm okay with that for the most part, but I have to adapt and shift and make the next journey. So there it is, 2 lifetime vision, big world-changing vision. Number 2 takeaway was, we have, I can't remember, probably 4 years ago, I heard this quote. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And what I realized to that quote was that was such a resonating theme of my life, is that I realized how untalented I was. I was pretty good at realizing that the guys at iThemes and the gals, they don't let me near any of the live code for a very good reason. It's because I suck at it. But I realized early on, and when I was sitting alone in my home office, is that if I wanted to do something big, if I wanted to chase the summit, I could maybe go fast for a while, make some money, and kind of do what I was wanting to do, but at some point I'd be limited to my elevation. If I wanted to go far, and this goes for you guys that are freelancers too, you need people. If you want to go far, you need help. You might be the only person employed by your business, but you need people to go far, to do the world-changing visions. For anyone that thinks that you can climb Everest alone, and I do not have the physical fitness to climb or even get close to a mountain or a hill. However, I'm smart enough to know you can't. I have not. Is there any story that you guys have heard of that Everest was climbed by one person? It's usually a team of people going far together, right? And so individuals don't climb mountains, teams do. Teams achieve summits together. And I love that because you have a big vision. You want people to go on that journey together. And I'll tell you, that's the most rich, rewarding part of the last 6 years of my life, is to go far with a team of dedicated people, passionate, super talented, connected to a common vision, to go far together. This is that quote is all over our office. It's probably talked about at some point. I do little hokey hashtags on our internal communication every now and then. When something cool happens, that somebody rings our bell and ships a feature or something, everybody participates in that. Because when that guy, whoever has shipped that code or whatever that is, rings that thing, everybody lives that with them. Because it's all for one, one for all. It's the Three Musketeers as kind of a little bigger group, but all of us doing that together. That means that when somebody does something cool, we all rejoice for them because we're walking together in a group toward the summit. But we realized, when I shout, I lose my voice a little bit. We can do more together than apart. This has probably been, if I had to guess, and you polled our team, the common reason why people want to be with our team. They see the vision, they see the summit, they want to go far together. There's people at iThemes that are so much talented they can make more money and do their own thing, but they choose not to be a rock star or a diva. They choose to go far together because they want to do something past what they can do. They want to do something bigger and better together. You guys got that? I'll keep yelling at you. Okay, but like I said, the real reward isn't profit. We have made money. That's a good thing, because I wanted to draw this pyramid, but I'm not good at drawing anymore on these things. But I wanted to put Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and to say the first rung is profit, and everything above that is labeled people. That's my success formula for business. You got to make a profit. We got to make a profit. You have to, or else we got to go do something else. Passion without profit is called a non-profit, right? It's a hobby. So that first rung has to be profit. You have to get past that. And for those of you, hey, I love WordPress is free, but somehow this stuff goes. This stuff keeps going. There's so many people that contribute their time and effort and talent, but there's fundamental business models behind how WordPress is free, right? It's called .com. Anyway, part of it. But the real reward is people over profit. And I brought Josh Benham from our team here today. I'm going to totally embarrass him, but his birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday, Josh. So Josh started at iThemes when he was 19 years old, and his claim to fame is he could pirate movies better than anyone. He's been with us 4 years. We were talking about this. Every time I travel, I like to take somebody with me because we get to spend time together. I don't get to spend time with Josh as much, but I've seen him grow. Now, that's his own journey is profitable for himself. Like he's had an experience where he went from pirating movies to building WordPress stuff, you know? That's pretty cool. But for me, my joy is that's the story. That's the person. Seeing people blossom and bloom. And they have all kinds of names at iThemes, and Brad, Matt, and Kristen, and Christine, and all these people. It's all about that. Once you get past the profit, we got to make a profit. It's all about people. Okay. It's about the places that you'll go together, the summits you'll do. And I'll tell you, we do these hangouts every month, and we have kind of a blended remote team. But whenever we get together, we end up telling like stories. And we call them like our little legends. Like our RV road trip we did to WordCamp Boulder a couple years ago, where we stuffed 7 sweaty geeks in a RV. I don't know how we got our deposit back, but you know, we drove to Boulder from Oklahoma City, and those are the stories we talk about. And when we talk about pulling people into the team, it's like, let's do something that creates a legend and a story that we laugh about, and we tell these stories over and over and over. And we always are building new stories and new legends. I already said that. So let me tell you, I was talking to some people over the group, and I really appreciate getting to know people and your stories and everything. I'll tell you one lesson I learned from the last 6 years is no matter who you are, freelancer, person in working in some organization for Wright State College or whatever it is, you need a sidekick. If you want to go far together, you need somebody that walks alongside you. And for the longest time, I didn't have a sidekick, and it felt lonely. To be chasing a world-changing vision, a summit, to be going far together, it gets lonely. You need a sidekick, and my sidekick now is Matt Danner, our COO. In the last 2 years, it's just I'm in amazement of how a 25-year-old young man runs a company like this, because I was managing a part-time person before we started the company. I had no idea how to run a 20-person company. But Matt's my sidekick. You need a sidekick. You need somebody that will just walk with you on the journey. And I'll tell you, you talk to freelancers and people that are doing it on their own, and it feels lonely at times because nobody shares your story, especially entrepreneurs. You're doing something that most people don't understand. You're taking a chance and risking and putting yourself out there and trying to create new things and seek that bold vision and all that kind of stuff, and it gets lonely. You need a sidekick. That goes whether you're a freelancer, it could be your spouse or significant other, whoever it is, you need to get a sidekick. And the second is, my story the last 2 to 3 years, I joined a group called Entrepreneurs Organization, and I have an 8-person peer group. We meet once a month. We talk for 4 hours. Everything is completely confidential. And my business and my personal life has grown multitudes. 10x times what it was 3 years ago before I joined that peer group, because I have not only a sidekick in Matt, and my wife's my sidekick in life, but I have a peer group that gets it, that's there. When shit sucks and I say, this sucks, they go, yep, we're here for you. And they share their experiences, and they're walking as a group with you. Now, you got your team and everything, but I'm talking about a peer group that some things you can't say to other people. Some things you don't want to scare them, But this other group, this peer group, this group of entrepreneurs I have in Oklahoma City, man, we're doing life together, and that's fun. So with your sidekick, you're going far together. I want Matt to accomplish his professional and personal goals in life. With this peer group, we're going far together. Because one of my presentations for that group was, I'm getting ready to have a baby. I don't know what it's like to be a dad. I have all these fancy opinions, but when the baby was born, all that stuff gets thrown out real quick. But anyway, you need a peer group. So, okay, number 3, ruthlessly, passionately, guard what matters most. And you know what matters most? It goes back to this. You, your family, your team, and your customers. That's all it cares about. I got so wrapped up the first couple years in our business of worrying about what everybody else was doing. And I lost track of this set of people. It was just about me, my family, my team. By the way, I say you first, because if you're not healthy, your team's not healthy. If you're bitter and jacked up, everything else is going to suffer. You got to worry about your own health first. I had to come to understand that. But anyway, this is what it matters. Everything else is noise, it's bullshit, it's vapor, it's going to fade away. That's it. Singular vision, going toward the summit together, and these are the people that matter most. You, your family, your team, and your customers. So 3 years ago or so, I was trying to look at the timeline because I honestly wanted to forget this. But halfway through our business, I was miserable. I think I said more than once, I want to work at McDonald's or Walmart. And I worked in Walmart and toys in college, and that's, whew. But and you know, no offense to either of those companies or the workers, but I want to do something anything else that wasn't being the CEO of iThemes. I hated life. And what I realized was we had people that didn't fit our culture. We had people that did not embrace the vision, that were not going far together for each other. And those elements just robbed my freaking happiness. And I just wanted to be anywhere, any place but iThemes. And I made that apparent to a couple of people. Until I finally realized, wait a minute. I started this gig. They need to go. They don't get the vision. They're not going together for each other. They don't belong on the bus. So what happened was I had to be so miserable. I hated life. I probably lost some. I probably gained some pounds and lost some lifetime there. But finally, over about, I don't know, it's probably 8-month period, they got to go. Because if they don't go, I'm going, and I'm not going. Because this is my deal. This is our deal together, but I started this deal. So they need off the bus. And I vowed never to let that happen again. We had to. And it hurt, and it was painful, and it sucked. And but thankfully, guess what? I had a sidekick, and I had a peer group through that whole thing. I wasn't alone walking together. And I had those people that belonged there, that were committed to the vision, that were going far together, that didn't want to be rock stars and divas, to have their own show, that they wanted to commit to a common purpose and goal. Those people were the ones. Now, here's my tip for you. I am the supreme protector now of our happiness. I make decisions about the people on the bus way faster than I ever did. I let them go a little bit too long. And so I vowed and determined that I am the protector and guardian supremely of the business called iThemes. And you have to watch that, because cancers will come into your little camp. And they'll try to distract you from the vision because they see another vision over here. Well, that's good and great, because you can release them to go chase that on their own and get their own group that's going to go far together. But I realized when I had elements that caused consistent grief, I'm the supreme protector. I try to be pretty nice about it, but I do it fast now. I don't let it go anymore. And I also realized I've got to be healthy and happy first. My happiness matters. Because if I come in as a grouch every day and my life sucks like it did then, man, that bleeds off faster than anything. Can you imagine a group of people trying to climb Everest, and the leader is just like miserable and kicking snow? I don't even know if I'd have the energy to kick snow, but I'd try to kick snow. You've got to be healthy, you've got to be happy first, and then it goes down the line. When you get that inverted is when things get messed up. One of the most freeing principles of my entire life is setting boundaries. I was that guy in high school and up to college, and probably about 2-3 years ago, that I just let anybody and anything run over me. Now, when McDonald's still gets my order wrong, I eat it with ketchup on it, and it sucks. But I don't say anything about it. But in my personal life and in my professional life, I have said, I want to give you something. I hate ketchup on hamburgers. Boundaries, that line in the sand to say you will not cross that. And to do that has been such a freeing part of my life. When somebody tries to go across the boundary, I'm quick to say, that's the line. If you don't move back, I will push you back. letting nothing, no one get past the line. Setting healthy boundaries has been the most freeing happiness formula in my entire life, and you have to set them, professionally and personally. Now, we blend things at iThemes. Man, I know about things. My entire team has been in our house, drank beer with me probably, held my child. You know, we blend stuff. But there's healthy boundaries that need to be set. And I'll tell you, the first thing is, people don't like that. They don't like being told no. That's where I say, this is my life, not yours. See you later. Okay. Hey, I'll tell you this book. I read this a month ago. People have been telling me about it, Happiness Advantage. It's like 150 ways to increase your happiness. Read it. It's good. It's great stuff. We're going to end up giving it to our entire team in paper copy just to say, practice this because it's how you click things. Okay, so number 4 is be constantly, forever clicking publish. And I say click publish because that's WordPress, right? So in 2006, I'm standing here today because in 2006, I decided to click publish and let my thoughts and opinions and ideas enter the world. And that's the magic of WordPress, man. Because in 5 seconds or 30 seconds maybe, you can be publishing your thoughts, however heretical and crazy they are. And I've read some of your blog posts. But you can publish that to the entire world. And here's my thing. Over the years, I was more of a read everything 500 times and stuff, and now I'm not like that. I just click publish. And what I mean by that is being able to take a chance on your thoughts, dreams, and goals, clicking publish. You know, I've talked to so many people that want blogs, and they get their first post written, and I go click publish, and they're like, I'm scared. Okay, click publish. My wife is a great example. She allows me to tell the story. She got her blog, and in her particular profession at the time was politics, and I said, load up about 3 drafts and click publish. And she did. And I said, she did the first part, and I said, how's it going? Have you published your first post? And she goes, no. And I said, why not? And she goes, well, I've got 5 written or something. I go, so did you click publish? And she goes, no. So why not? I'm afraid. I put you, and I remember that in 2006, man. There's still people that know that should be here instead of me. But I choose to be here and click publish and put myself out there. And in 2006, that's my story for you. 2006, I chose to click publish, put a blog out there, and blog like a crazy man. And I'll tell you, today I keep clicking publish. That's a little metaphor. But I keep clicking publish in my life. And I realize the time I stop clicking publish and get so scared is the time I'm going to wither and be irrelevant and not achieve anything in life. This is the quote that's really inspired me since I was in high school. I love it. The tragedy of life is what dies inside a man, woman, while he or she lives. That I see so much talent in people. I've met some of you that have such great hopes and dreams and goals and talent and all that kind of stuff. And if you never put it out there into the world, if you never click publish and be available and have the opportunity to be criticized, then you wasted something that was given to you that you're a steward of, I believe, in any way. I believe that's a tragedy. So this is a core value in software development. We just adopted it and talked about it at iThemes. But ship and iterate. It means do the work, ship the work, improve the work, do it all again. But when you don't ship the work, and thankfully, for the most part, I kept shipping my own work, but I push our team to do that. You're brilliant, you're awesome, this is good. Ship it to the world and let them decide how good it truly is. And use that feedback to make it better. Whether you're doing blogging or you're putting your crafts on a WordPress site and trying to sell them to the world, put it out there for the world to judge. Because if you don't, you've already failed. And what I call that is a work of art that you've produced but hasn't been shipped to the world. That's your narcissistic art sculpture for yourself. And I'm sure you get a lot of jollies just looking at it every day, but let the world also experience that art. You know what I'm saying? So ship the work. And so it's something I've tried to live over and over and over again, but I know that if we hadn't taken the chance 4 years ago to put something out there, that's called backup buddy, I wouldn't, the business would be in a wholly different place. If we chose to put our work out there and keep iterating on the work and make it better and better and better over the time, people's lives would have been awesome. Our lives would have been cool, or that person to admire that code or whatever it was, but your life or our customers' lives wouldn't have been awesome. So I know my story for you is that if we stop doing this, taking little bets and shipping and iterating, that we're going to be irrelevant, we're going to waste our opportunity, and that's just, I can't live with myself. I can't live with talent that's just guarded and never has the chance to see the light of day. That sucks. So ship and see is my encouragement to you. And we have a great group of designers here, I know. Freelancers, artists, creative types. I love you and I value your talent. But perfectionism, you have a problem with it. Right, you guys are all laughing and go, yeah, I do, but I'm not changing. Well, it's evil. It's evil because if you don't let your art, whatever that is, into the world, you're doing a disservice to humanity, to me. I want to see your work. I want to see your art. Maybe if it doesn't compete with me directly, that'd be good. But, you know, if you take something, you designers and creative types, perfectionism is evil. You have a problem with it. Get over yourself and ship it because it's evil. And I'll tell you, I think the root of it is that we're afraid of something. We're afraid to fail, afraid of winning or losing, whatever that is, afraid of criticism. But I'll tell you, I believe fundamentally that if you don't ship your stuff, that's failure. If you don't let the opportunity to try, to see if it'll work, that's the only failure. The only way you, am I getting my words wrapped up? The only time you do fail is when you don't try and learn. Try and learn. That's failure. And if you don't learn from what you've done, and you just decide it's a failure and I'm going to go back and I'm going to hide everything and guard everything jealously, then you failed because you've missed out on an expensive lesson that you should have learned from and adapted from so you can ship better work in the future. I believe success is mostly showing up and trying. You know, my friend Jeff Chandler, I remember 2008 WordCamp Dallas. Jeff's sitting here because he showed up and he put his opinion out there in WordPress. Now it's WP Tavern. You guys read it, right? But Jeff, just like me, there's more talented people in the world, possibly, not a knock, because I'm with you here. He showed up. He showed up. He kept showing up. He kept trying. He put his work out into the world to be ridiculed, to fail. And he's here because he kept trying. And I do believe this. I really do.
I kept showing up and I didn't shut up.
He doesn't shut up. He showed up. He didn't shut up. He kept trying. That's your word, right? I do believe, looking back on everything I've done in my life that I'm very, very proud of, I showed up. That was like that was probably 80% of the work. I'm about that much talented, so 1% goes that, and the other thing is maybe some mystical universe thing. But, you know, 80% was just me just saying, I'm going to get up here and potentially embarrass myself. But I probably have, you know. I'm gonna step up here today. Success is just about me being right here and taking a chance to be an idiot in front of you, to show my ignorance, you know. But I'll tell you, success is just showing up. I've seen over and over again, people just willing to ship the work, to do the work, to put themselves out there. This book right here is another one. If you get 2 books, it's Happiness Advantage and Do the Work. Read, if you're a creative type particularly, read this once a year. Do the work. It's like an hour read. You read it on the plane ride back, don't read it in the car while you're driving. But read this. It's about just getting the work out there. We put it as a reference on our Kindle system. We have a library system within our team. Do the Work is one I've highly, highly recommend. It's so good. It's so good. Hey, so my guess is, I want to give you something today. My guess is all of us, have something good that you haven't shipped today. Anybody going to say yeah? Man, there's a lot. Push your art out in the world. That's my challenge for you. I can tell you, for the most part, I'm going to guess 80% of you have something good that you haven't shipped because you're scared. You haven't chosen to put something good that you have this terrible outlook on. But that whole self-talk, if you imagine telling that to somebody else, how rude and inconsiderate that would be. Your self-talk sucks to your own self. You wouldn't ever say the things you say to yourself about it to another person. I certainly wouldn't. Ship it. That's my challenge for you today. There's something that you're working on that's good. It's good enough. It's not perfect. It's not your evil perfectionism thing. Take that project and put it out into the world today and see what happens. And if people hate it, learn from it, grow from it, but ship and see, right? So here's my questions for you. What's your 2 lifetime vision? That big summit. Who are you going with? Who are you going far together? Who are you going to be? You're going to be able to tell stories around the campfire when you're old and gray. That you want to do great things together. That 2 lifetime vision together. Are you protecting it? How are you protecting that? What really, 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 really matters, because the summit together, you got to protect it vigilantly. And this fourth is, what are you going to ship today? So that's me. I'm done yelling at you. Thanks.
What'd you guys think? Yeah. Another hand, please. Little story. I contacted Cory. I said, Cory, we really want you here. He goes, you want me to talk about it? I don't know. It's our first one. But then I'm like, talk about business. Talk about how you use WordPress. And got it. Got it covered. And I can't say how great this is. I can't wait to watch the video over and over. Right now, we're just going to take a break. Next session's at 2 o'clock. Relax. Go above Cory for your personal questions. And he's going to say, click publish. Enjoy.